Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Rosie and this is my husband Jeremy.
Hello.
We are currently in Lima, so if you hear any funny noises, cars, music, all that good stuff, I'm sorry, it's just part of being here, which is what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to be giving you Lima travel advice. So we spent 12 days here at the beginning of our trip and we kind of want to talk about the different areas, safety, money, transport, food shopping, money, anything and everything we can think about to help anybody who might be going to Lima as well anytime soon. So, we already recorded this video, by the way. Long story short, my computer stopped working, I lost the video, so we're doing this a second time round. That's also why I've got short hair. That's going to be coming in a vlog coming very, very soon. Anyway, let's talk about Lima. So, first things first is weather. When we check the weather forecast every day, it kind of says the same temperature, but then some days it's colder and cloudy, and then some days it's warmer and sunny. So it's a little bit funny, isn't it, in terms of what to expect?
Yeah, the app doesn't help.
No.
It's just the same every single day, but you step outside and you might get sunburn.
Yeah.
Or you might be cold.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, good.
So one of the very first days we were here, I got absolutely frazzled. We went down to the beach in Miraflores, which is where we were staying, and it was sunny, but it wasn't particularly hot.
No.
Got home at night time, I was like, oh, my forehead feels really warm. And I absolutely burnt it to a crisp, and it didn't quite blister, but it definitely peeled, and my scalp as well, like where my hair parts. So I got a really good burn that lasted about 10 days. Yeah. So definitely wear sun cream here is one of my kind of top advice, because
we were laughing at the surfers covered in sun cream, and then we were
burnt to a crisp. Like, it doesn't feel hot here and the sun doesn't feel strong, especially because there's lots of clouds, so you kind of get burnt without realising you're actually burning. And speaking of the clouds, I googled it. So the water is cold, but then the air is warm, which means that basically there's lots of clouds in Lima. And it also, because there's the Andes Mountains, the clouds can't go inland and kind of get away from the coast. So basically a lot of the time here it's grey, but warm.
Yeah. You always have this thin layer, grey layer of cloud that is always there. Also, you get like the wind, the breeze from the Pacific Ocean that is a bit chill, like for sunset. Last time when we see a sunset, it was a bit like, ooh. Yeah,
it can be a little bit chilly sometimes. You have to wear a little jacket or something.
Yeah. And
also, it's the second driest capital city in the world after Cairo, Egypt. So it's definitely dry. It doesn't rain a whole lot, but it has
like 3 micro drop of rain 2 days ago. But
otherwise,
it's been fine here for that.
Yeah, super dry. So it's good because you can kind of plan your outfits. Like, basically, I was wearing leggings and a t-shirt, or trousers and a vest, or something like that. And that's been absolutely fine. You might need a cardigan or a little jacket in the evenings, but otherwise, sandals, things like that. It's not going to rain. You're not going to have crazy hot weather or crazy cold weather from what we've experienced anyway.
Yeah, it's pretty consistent.
Yeah. And we were here for 2 weeks in the middle of November. Yeah. So just reference, we don't know what it's like in April or in August. I have no idea.
Which is supposed to be like spring.
Yeah.
Technically.
Okay, so that's the weather. Okay, so next up is money. Now, the currency here is soles, and we figured out that 10 soles is roughly €2, so therefore 50 soles is roughly 10 euros, and this is kind of where we've been, like, gearing towards, planning around.
I think of 5, so.
Yeah, so that's roughly what the money is. It took us a couple of days to get used to it. We would kind of look at something, like look at a menu and something says 50, we're like, oh, 50, oh my God. And then you look at it and you're like, okay, that's only 10 soles, that's actually fine, that's not super expensive.
Which is funny because basically when we go for a meal together, we spend, let's say 50 in average, which is what you would spend in a European American city. It's like 25 each. Then you realize actually it's so less and you just spend $10.
Yeah, it's mad. It is mad. But in terms of taking money out, so we read online to take money out at banks rather than like a hole in the wall or at a supermarket, something like that. And also to go during the day. Now, a lot of the time, I don't know if this is because of COVID, which we're going to talk about later, but there's a security guard outside most shops and also all banks, I think. They are sometimes checking COVID, checking temperature, things like that. But otherwise they're there for security, so it's best to go during the day to an actual bank where there's a lot of people around. I know it might seem like there's a lot of people to see you taking money out, but actually it just means there's a lot of people. Yeah, but it also means there's a lot of people that can see if anything goes wrong. So that's what we've been doing, and that's worked for us. In terms of taking money out, we went to one bank first. We don't remember the name, but we're not going to mention it anyway because they charged us 25 soles to take out money, and it didn't matter the amount of money, did it?
No, yeah, it was a fixed amount. We took 400.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fixed amount.
So we took out 400 soles. It sounds insane. It was 80 euros. And then Jeremy looked online and found a bank, BCP, which is basically free to take out money.
Yeah, they don't charge, their ATM don't charge any fees. And this is not just in Lima, it's actually in other places we experienced it.
Yeah.
So yeah, highly recommend using this bank rather than other ones because you'll save a few bucks.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them as well. There's a lot of them around. It's, easy to use and whatever. So that's what we've been using, BCP. And in terms of costs, so we actually ate out twice in Lima. The first time I had a chicken and mushroom sandwich and you had a salad.
Tuna salad.
I think each of them cost
20
soles.
20 soles
which is €4.
Yeah, and we had pineapple juice.
Yeah.
We had a glass each. And that was about, I think, 8 or 9 soles each.
Yeah, so just under €2.
We paid about 50 or 60 in total, which was about €13, I think, which is $15.
Yeah, so super affordable. The second time we went for a lunch meal again in Barranco.
Yeah.
I got ceviche, and my ceviche meal was 50 soles, which is about €10. You
and
had a
mine
rice.
Was about 50 or 60 as well.
60 yours
which was a portion of 4 people, to be honest.
It was
huge. Ridiculous. It was a bit more expensive, also a little bit more trendy place that everyone recommended, so I think...
Yeah, it's kind of on all the travel blogs,
yeah.
or they're like, go to this place for ceviche. So we went there and it was good.
Yeah, it was fine. It was expensive from Peruvian standard.
It's mad me saying that €10 was expensive, because €10 for a meal is not expensive, but it's expensive.
Especially when you see the size, and it was delicious as well. So
yeah.
It wasn't expensive in the grand scheme of things. It was expensive compared to all the other restaurants we tried in Peru so far.
Yeah. I also had a pisco sour, absolutely delicious, and that was 20 soles, so that's about €4.
And you were pissed with it. So
and I was drunk after one. They are strong.
Small hangover.
I had a daytime hangover, it was that bad. But at 6 p.m. I was like, I'm getting a headache, I'm getting a hangover. So yeah, that's about money. So it's soles. There's lots of banks around. We recommend BCP. Food can vary in price. Like I said, it was 10 for a sandwich, but then 20 for a sandwich, and then 50 for a meal. So I think it can go a lot more expensive and probably a little bit cheaper as well.
Yeah, you can find a few places in Lima where you can find a sandwich for like 12 soles I've seen in the street here and there.
Yeah. The historical district seemed cheaper in terms of food from what we saw walking around. There were some spaces that looked a bit cheaper.
In the touristic high-end district, which obviously...
This is like the nice part of town.
Which is obviously a bit more pricey, but it's reasonable compared to European or American standards. That's the point.
Okay, so that was money. Next up is food shopping. So we have food shopped in about 3 different types of places. So the first one we went to was Wong, and this is a little bit like a Target or a Walmart, something like that. Like it has food, but it also has things like stationery, kids' toys, maybe a bit of clothing, depending on the size of the Wong. So there is a Wong down by the shopping mall. I can't remember the name of it, La Comer or something like that it's called.
Yeah, it's next to the GFK park.
There's a small one down by the shopping centre, which kind of just has food, like your basics, like, a bit of vegetables and fruit, and then, bread, milk, cereals, rice, pasta. It's like a smaller one. And then there's the bigger one by the JFK Park, which has like 2 floors, doesn't it?
Yeah,
and
like
that's
Christmas decoration.
It's got everything.
Yeah, like washing machines, stuff like that.
Yeah, so there are different types of, different sizes, but Wong is kind of the basic supermarket that we've been to. The other one is Vivanda, and this seems like a bit more of a supermarket. Yeah, like a Publix, or if you're English, like a Sainsbury's, something like that. So it just has food, but it's got kind of like a meat counter and...
everything you need to be honest.
Yeah.
Like a pretty normal supermarket from what you would expect.
But it's not got the
from a
extras
Ghana.
in terms of like the one near us. It's not got things like stationery and kids' toys and all the rest of it. It's just food.
Food, but every kind of food, like frozen, fresh, vegetable, dry, cans, body wash,
alcohol, all the rest
stuff
of
like
it.
that.
And then the other type of shops we've been going to are small kind of personal shops. What do you call them? Small businesses.
You have a garage and you sell some food in grocery stores.
Yeah, like literally,
just like a small grocery
they're like
store.
the size of like a small living room, and they sell maybe fresh fruit, so like pineapples, avocados, fruit that we don't know what they are, bananas.
Yeah, and then bread,
pasta,
rice, and cans.
Yeah, a couple of
basically.
chocolates, maybe a little bit of drink and stuff, but that's kind of it. So we've kind of been doing our shopping in all three. We got things like pasta and rice from the big supermarket because we thought that might be cheaper.
It's actually pretty the same, right?
Yeah.
Prices are pretty similar everywhere, honestly. And again, it's fairly cheap.
But in terms of avocados, I recommend going to the smaller shops because they tend to have more ripe ones, whereas the supermarkets have not ripe ones. You have to wait a week, and if you haven't got a week to wait, like if you're in Lima for a week, you don't want to wait a week to eat your avocado. So I'd recommend getting fruit and veg from the smaller shops. And like if you need like some eggs or a bit of milk or something, you can just pop over to your nearest one and then go to the bigger shops for more like your bigger things like pasta, rice, toilet paper or like...
This one on every block. The small one pretty much on every block, this one.
Yeah, and it's nice as well to actually pop into different ones and see what they have because some have, you know, different fruits or different vegetables or different sweets or different whatever, like they kind of have different, they're not all exactly the same. So that's been something we've been doing for food shopping. Sorry, the doorbell just went. So that's what we've been doing in terms of food shopping. And we went yesterday, for example, and spent 10 euros?
Yeah, €8.
And it's probably going to do us for the next 3 days. So yesterday, today, and probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
So bought like a pineapple, some avocado, some rice, some pasta,
some breakfast things,
some yogurt, some like lots of different bits. And it cost €8 for 3 days, which is pretty affordable if you ask me.
That's the price of the avocado in Miami.
Yeah, literally.
So
yeah, that's food shopping. Okay, so next up we're going to talk about travel. So when we arrived in Lima airport, we got a taxi from the airport to Miraflores, which is where we were staying. And when you get off your flight and come out through the airport, there's like maybe 8 different taxi companies, something like that. We ended up going with one called Taxi 365. And we said to them, okay, we're going to Miraflores, this is the address. And then we paid there and then the taxi came about 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
And I think that's good because you paid before you got in the taxi, so there's no negotiating, and plus there was traffic, so it probably would have cost us more if we would have gone with like a traditional taxi. We didn't quite know if Ubers were safe or not, or if it worked. We didn't even have the app, I don't think.
they're not allowed in the airport anyway.
Oh, they're not allowed in the airport. And then the other option is to just go with somebody who calls himself a taxi driver. So when you step out of the airport, there was like 100 men shouting, taxi, taxi, taxi. And they're basically just a man with a car who will drive you where you want. And it might have been cheaper, it might have been more expensive, we don't know, we didn't ask. But we kind of read online that it's probably not the safest thing. Maybe they drive you somewhere and take your things, maybe they drive fast, maybe they drink drive. Like it's not secured and it's not insured and it's
probably not worth the risk.
A real company, yeah.
To be honest.
It's probably not worth the risk. So it cost, do you remember how much it cost? Was it like
60 soles?
60 soles, which is about 12 euros.
For like usually half an hour drive.
Yeah.
It could be longer because of traffic, but yeah.
Yeah, so the taxi was absolutely fine. I think it was good that we paid before we got in. The taxi driver was fine. It was a little bit scary, I'll be honest, because we just got off like an 11.5-hour aeroplane. So we were jet lagged, we were tired. For us, it was like 5 a.m. or something. And then he's like zipping down the Malaga, like there's this huge road in Lima that goes along the beach and there's all the cliffs like next to it, and he's like whizzing past, and I was holding Jeremy's hand on one side and holding the end of the car on it, like it was like madness.
It was fine.
It was fine, but it was a little bit scary. And then we went to the historical district, which is about a 20-minute drive from Miraflores, which is where we were staying. And we asked the same company how much it would cost for a taxi. And I think they said 38.
Yeah.
And then we looked on Uber and it said 13.
Between 10 and 15.
Yeah. And we're like, okay, well, it's 3 times cheaper. We'll try Uber. And something interesting, once we'd confirmed the ride, it said something along the lines of...
If you want to, for safety reason, you have the possibility to record, and also the driver has the possibility to record through the app conversations that you have. So I guess if you
If
don't
feel
feel safe
unsafe.
for whatever reason, just press the button and it's going to record. So just in case anything happens.
Which is super interesting, because I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I don't remember, yeah.
Yeah, so you can record the conversations, but actually it was fine. So it was 3 times cheaper. I like the fact again that you pay a certain amount, and it's not a taxi where they can drive you around the long way around town and take you, twice as long.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely fine.
Yeah, and I mean, we took it a few times since then, and about 5 times at different time of day, nighttime, morning, and so far it's always been kind of the same price, between 10 and 15 soles, so about 2 or 3 euro. And it's always been fine. Like, I tried to take a Comfort one, it was the same. I don't recommend paying the extra euro for that.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of car or anything. But no, yeah, honestly, it's so far really good experience with Uber. I would recommend it
It's been safe.
a normal taxi, just for, like you say, it's just easier. You don't have to pay. The price is decided before.
You don't have to try and explain where you're going as well.
Yeah.
And try and say the name of an
I
address.
feel it's just
or...
much easier, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, really recommend Uber. It's been absolutely fine. And then the last thing is buses. So we got a bus from Lima to Oxapampa, and then also Oxapampa back to Lima. I lost the footage of the way there. There was going to be a whole vlog, but I'm going to explain that in a future video. So subscribe if you want to know about the dramas that we've been having. But yeah, the bus was absolutely fine as well.
Yeah, I think big companies like this one, Mobile, are okay when you want to do intercity travels.
Yeah.
However, I mean, the bus about Lima is a different vibe.
The Lima
We didn't try
buses,
it, but
we haven't tried them. So, well, the reason we didn't try them is you had to go to a certain station, get a ticket, and
actually, you had to pay with a card. The guy said.
Oh.
Don't remember at the tourist center he said that you need to have a card, like a member card. Yeah. So we would have had to give money to someone for them to like check in for us, which would have been a faff.
Yeah.
And also when you see the bus in the city, you kind of.
And we would have also needed a face shield, which we didn't have at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are very local, very small, quite rickety, quite old.
Doors open.
You just hop on, and there's a lot of people on it. It's very there's lots of families, and it's just very local, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think we would feel a little bit uncomfortable not knowing where we're going and what
but
we're
also,
doing.
like, I find it really difficult to know where they go. There's no.
Oh yeah.
Like there's plenty of bus stops, very a lot.
Yeah.
But there's no map, or you don't know where they go.
And also on the buses, they have like 5 different town names.
Yeah.
It's like
It's like
Trujillos.
districts. So.
Yeah, Barranco, this place, that place.
Like, you have no idea where you go,
Yeah.
which stop is it. So it's really hard when you don't know. Like, and if you check on Google Map, it's not there.
Yeah,
so
it's not easy.
Really hard when you don't know.
I think if you
about the
lived
city.
here, you would understand it. You'd figure it out, and it would be good.
As a tourist,
I think it would be cheap. Like, because to get from Miraflores to the historical district, the bus would have cost 2 soles 50 each, so 5 for one way, whereas the Uber cost us like 13. So it would be a lot cheaper, but it's just a whole faff that we didn't know how to
honestly,
do.
as a tourist from America, Europe, between paying honestly 50 cents or €2, I would recommend paying the €2. At least you know where you're going.
Yeah, it's just a whole lot easier.
Yeah, it's not gonna probably change your life, and it'll be much easier.
Yeah. So that's everything to do with travel. Okay, so next up we're going to talk about safety. South America does not have a good reputation in terms of safety, which was one of the reasons I was kind of scared to come here. But honestly, we've been fine. We've not experienced anything bad or horrible. We've not seen anything. And I think there's a couple of reasons for that. Luck is obviously one of them, not being at the wrong place at the wrong time. We've kind of been lucky in terms of that, because sometimes you can try your best and still something happens. So we've been very lucky. But there's a couple of things that we've done. So the first thing is to not go out at night time. We might watch the sunset by the beach and then pretty much walk straight home. We've had dinners at home every night as well. If we've gone out for food, it's been at lunchtime, so with bright daylight, and then make sure we're home by sunset. And it's interesting because you miss out on part of the culture here and part of the day and part of the lifestyle, I guess, in terms of restaurants and bars and clubs and dancing and music and all that stuff. You kind of miss out on it. But for us, we'd rather be safe. And It's funny because, like, I feel like had we come travelling to here at the age of 21, I'd be out at night drinking and getting drunk and, like, partying with all the locals. But now that I'm 33, I'm a lot more sensible. And I'm like, no, I want dinner at home. Let's sit and watch Netflix for an hour and then go to sleep and be safe. And it's interesting. Like, I think our age probably has something to do with it, honestly.
Yeah, the age and also the way we travel. We are here for long-term travel. I mean,
yeah,
here,
it's not just like 2 weeks.
Just Peru and Lima, but like, yeah, we are traveling for a few months. Losing your phone or getting your bank card stolen. Like, it's not that you're gonna go back home next week and you can just change it.
Out, yeah.
We're going back in maybe 9 months, so it will be a hell of a pain to fix whatever could happen, and it's just not worth it.
Yeah. And also in terms of safety,
I don't care, to be honest.
Also in terms of safety, I don't want to, I feel like, maybe this is completely wrong, but I feel like more crimes possibly happen at night time.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to risk having, like you said, my phone stolen, my bank card stolen, any kind of situation with guns or knives or anything, threatening. Yeah, because it's just not worth it to me. I'm not that bothered about having a drink or partying.
Even if where we stay feels safe. Now, we heard stories also of people getting robbed in Miraflores or things happening. So yeah, there is a part of luck and a part of being careful, but a part of luck. So yeah, it's just like your appetite to risk and also what you want to do and what's important for you. For me, this is not important.
It's not important for us. Yeah. We're not here for that.
It's just
We're here
not
to
a priority.
See Lima like during the day. Yeah. So that's one thing, is to not go out at night time. There was one evening we watched the sunset and then we went to Wong to get some food, and then as we were walking home I was like, oh my god, it's dark, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Freaked out a little bit for no reason. It was absolutely fine. There was still a lot of people around. It was probably like 7 p.m, like it wasn't even late.
Half an hour after sunset.
Yeah, but I think just because it was dark I was a little bit worried. But other than that, we've been home after sunset.
I mean, after, it's the only thing, like, when you don't know the city, you could take the wrong turn in the wrong street, and then suddenly you're alone, stuff like that. But I think also if you go out at night, stay, on the busy streets and stuff like that, you have less chance to, again, have something happening.
But also, so there's lots of restaurants around, so even on our street, there's a beer and ceviche place or something opposite us. I think there's something else next to that, and then there's also a food market where they have lots of different food shops in one little area.
I think that would be fine to
literally on the same road. So if you're literally crossing the road or going down there, it would be fine. But I wouldn't be walking 20 minutes to a restaurant and then walking back at 10 p.m. Yeah. Personally, we haven't done that and we've been fine. And to go with that, the second thing is to hold things close to you. Again, you could be in the wrong place at the wrong time and something bad happens. Shit happens in life. But something that we've done is, if I'm carrying my camera, I have it in my Peak Design bag, cross-bodied, and I have my hand on my zip the whole time. If I want to take a photograph, I unzip it, take some photographs, put it back away, zip it up and hold the zip again. And I've been pretty careful. I'm not just having my camera hanging around my neck and walking around with it like that, because it's a pretty expensive camera. In terms of my phone as well, so I obviously have been vlogging quite a lot of my trip. I only vlog when I feel safe to do so. And again, feeling safe is subjective. You can feel safe but not actually be safe, but it's when I personally have felt safe. There was a certain area in the historical district around Plaza Italia. I didn't get my phone out once. I kept my phone in my pocket and pretended I didn't even have it because I didn't feel safe enough to get it out. Maybe it would have been absolutely fine, but I didn't. Whereas maybe in Miraflores, I might walk around vlogging. But again, I'll vlog my little bit of hey, so today we're going to buy some food, and then I'll put my phone away. And then, or if we're checking the maps, we'll kind of stop, huddle together somewhat, look at the maps of where we're going, and then be like, okay, phone away, let's go. And I think the thing is as well about acting confident, knowing where you're going, even if you don't know where you're going. I think that helps a lot in a lot of big cities. So that's what we've been doing, not going out at night time and trying to keep our things safe and with us.
Yeah, and also we met a few people told us her phone was stolen from a motorbike, I think, driving past, she just took it from her hand. Someone got a stole.
1 second, and then with that, they had access to her bank account and cleared her bank account. So we don't know how much money that was. She didn't tell us whether it was 200 or 2,000 or 200,000. But I think it was a lot of money because she seemed upset. So again, if you have apps on your phone, make sure your phone is locked, make sure it's got your face thing, make sure, passwords aren't hidden on your phone somewhere, try and keep it all safe.
And also she got her laptop stolen
in a
the
hostel.
dorm. Yeah, so...
She
and it
said-
was locked, so I mean...
She said her laptop was in her dorm room, locked in a locker, and then somebody broke in and stole it while they were out and then left. So she lost her laptop, her phone, and all of her money in her bank. So
Good
she
day.
was very unlucky. I think we've been very lucky so
Yeah.
far. But then it's only the start of our trip. Maybe something will happen.
Yeah.
You never know. But that's what we've been doing anyway. Not going out at night time, trying to keep things safe, trying to keep things put away and not bring attention to yourself. I went out wearing something similar to this yesterday. It was a white vest top instead, and I felt very exposed. And I kind of feel like I probably should have worn a jumper or something to hide a little bit more and not be as out there. I don't know. But anyway, that's to do with safety. Next up is
We'll talk about the neighbors, I think.
Neighbourhoods. Okay. So we are staying in Miraflores, which is the touristy area to stay. It's not the most beautiful area at all. There's lots of businesses, there's lots of tall buildings, and it's not like super photogenic in terms of the buildings. It's nice because it's next to the water, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
So
worth it.
the shopping mall next to the water I've talked about is a really nice shopping mall. It's got like Nike, Patagonia, H&M. It's got restaurants and bars. It's got lots of different things. So it's a nice place to kind of go for a stroll and walk around. You also get to see the sunset there, which has been lovely. And then there's the Malecon, which is like the walkway along the cliffs. You could also walk down and walk along the beaches. It's a really nice area. It kind of feels local. It feels safe. It feels wealthy in terms of Lima. Like, you know, it's a nice area.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's the area where that's recommended by everyone online. That's where we came. And it does feel safe. I understand why I don't feel out of place here.
Yeah.
I'm just one person. I'm white, so I stand out a bit. But otherwise, it's not because of what I'm wearing or what I have doesn't make me any different than other people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no. No, it's nice once it's fairly quiet.
Yeah.
For Lima standard.
For Lima, yeah.
No, I mean, it's not like a party town. It's not anything like that. I love the walk on the cliff.
Yeah, it's been your
just
favourite
to see
bit.
the sunset and everything is pretty cool because it's literally a 10 minutes walk.
Yeah. So that's Miraflores. We also spent an afternoon in Barranco, which is meant to be like the bohemian, artsy area. If you've been to Miami, I think it's kind of the Wynwood equivalent with less street art, I guess. We spent an afternoon there. That's where we went for the ceviche. I'll leave the restaurant link down below if you want to go there as well. It was nice. That area felt a lot more local, a lot more neighbourhoody.
A little bit more authentic. I'd say.
Authentic, yeah. There was less high buildings and hotels and businesses and things like that. It was a lot more kind of local shops, local restaurants, local houses, just kind of smaller scale. It was beautiful again walking along the Malecon there as well. They've got lots of nice posh apartment buildings. But it was a nice area, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think it's
felt
worth
safe as
visiting
well.
for an
It didn't-
afternoon.
Yeah. No, it was nice, yeah. Just a different vibe and different things to see, and different style.
And then the other place we went to was the historical district. So Barranco, for a start, actually was about a 30-minute walk from Miraflores to get there, and then we walked back as well, and it felt safe and it was fine. There was busy roads, but otherwise, you know, down the pavement, it was fine. However, the historical district was about a 20-minute car drive. I wouldn't recommend walking there, it would be too far, and also I don't know how safe it would be or anything, so just get a taxi, get an Uber.
It would take 3 or 4 hours to walk there.
Yeah, it was far. But I loved it there. It's obviously completely different. I felt like I was kind of anywhere in Europe. Obviously the Spaniards came and invaded and there's a lot of Spanish influences. So there's kind of palaces and yellow buildings and pink buildings and blue churches and red churches and all different colours, isn't there?
Yeah.
And kind of that European style of kind of swirly details and columns and archways and colour, and it could have been anywhere in Europe, honestly, couldn't it?
Yeah, the architecture was very different. It felt older and more stylish and more real. It was cool. I enjoyed it personally. I really enjoyed it.
I liked it there.
There's a lot of things to see, to do, plenty of shops if you want to go shopping, like some massive mall
Yeah.
where we went to buy absolutely massive.
Massive.
Like
Massive.
big. Plenty of like pedestrian streets, which was quite cool when we went as well. And, like, you don't have to worry about the crazy cars, and you got little shops everywhere.
Yeah.
Plenty of cool buildings to see around, and then there is the big plaza.
Yeah, the Plaza Mayor, or it's also called Plaza des Armas, is like the main square, and there's a palace on one side, and I think about 11:30, 12 or something, they have the changing of the guards, where they have an orchestra, and it's the whole shebang, and it's definitely worth going to see that.
Yeah, that was cool.
There's also the cathedral, which we didn't actually go inside, but it looked nice from outside.
Yeah, and there is a museum next to it.
Oh,
that
museum.
You could pay together,
Okay.
like 15 soles or 20 soles, and you could visit both together.
And then the rest of it was these yellow buildings, and so yellow is the colour of Lima.
Well, of cultural buildings in Lima.
Of cultural buildings in Lima. So a lot of them are this really beautiful kind of mustard yellow colour. There was pink churches, but what was interesting, so that part of town was old in the Spanish sense of things. And then when we kind of walked around the back of the palace, we saw a huge hill covered in lots of different coloured buildings that had all been painted. There was lots of buildings, and this was a different style of old. This
it was funny
like,
because you behind this presidential palace you had a river.
Yeah.
It was like 2 bridges crossing, and on the other side of the water you could see the income level was very low.
Yeah.
Like the houses were
Shacks.
unfinished. Like a very different vibe and style and level of income and share, like so different from one street to another. Crazy.
It was interesting, like you could look over and you could
you could see it was just
sense it. And
we didn't go, so I don't know how it was, but it's a very different part of town, probably more real than what we saw.
I think it would be so interesting to walk around there and talk to people from there, go to shops around there, go to the restaurants around there. But because we didn't know the area, we didn't feel super safe walking around, especially because we don't speak Spanish fluently. We're white, obviously, so we stand out as well. I think it would be interesting to go there, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, really enjoyed the historical district. Definitely worth going for an afternoon. I think we spent about 5-6 hours there. Really enjoyed it, and I said I'd happily go back for another day and walk around a little bit more and see more.
Yeah, it's quite cool. Nice place to hang out.
We went to randomly walked to Plaza Italia because I was like, oh, let's go to this square. Like I said before, didn't feel super safe around there. You enjoyed it though, didn't you? Because it was
way more local, like this busy street with shops and people carrying piles of stuff on their head and
the
very
road
noisy.
Was so busy. There was no cars. It was just all people walking up and down, and there was all Christmas shops. And you'd look into one doorway, and it would go back into a whole big market, wouldn't it? And it was like, wow, what's that?
Cool.
What's down there? It was cool to walk around. I didn't vlog there, so that tells you how safe I felt. But I think it could be worth going. I don't know. Quite enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up is laundry. So Random topic, I know. But we have found that in the 2 Airbnbs that we've stayed in here, there has not been a laundry service. There's not been, the washing machine and dryer. So I think I started by washing things by hand. I washed a couple of pairs of knickers and socks, and I thought, this is going to be such a pain to wash t-shirts, bras, underwear, trousers, t-shirts. And we thought, we've seen lots of laundry places, let's go and see. So we walked around the corner to one, and it's 3.5 soles for a kilo, right?
Yeah. Well.
So basically, 2 big bags of clothes, like bigger than that, cost us
10 soles the first time.
10 soles, which is about €2.
Yeah.
And we get the clothes back in about 2.5 days, 2 days?
Yeah, 2 days after.
Yeah.
And we went back with a kind of big bag like that big, plus another one like that. And that was 23.
So it's about 5 soles, €5.
Yeah.
So it's something that we know is a luxury for backpackers. Not every backpacker is going to be sending their things off to a laundry. But it is something that I think is worth paying for, just because it's so nice to have clean clothes, especially when you're outside and maybe you're sweating or you're walking around or whatever, and then...
Once in a while. I won't do it every time, but once in a while like that, it's...
Yeah, like, so when we were in Oxapampa this past couple of weeks, we washed things by hand. So we washed our, underwear and socks and things by hand, washed t-shirts and things, and let them out to dry. But then it is nice to come here and then freshly, give them an actual good clean with a washing machine.
Yeah.
So that's something we've been doing. It's been quite affordable. It's something that I'm more than happy to pay, because I think it does make a difference when you're wearing fresh, clean clothes rather than clothes that have kind of been washed in dirty water and not quite clean. And it's one of those luxuries that not every traveller's going to want to do, but we've done it and we've found it reliable, easy, cheap.
Yeah.
Something we recommend doing. So next up, we're going to talk about COVID. Now, obviously, we are here in November 2021. COVID is still a thing. If you're watching this in the future, we have found it actually surprisingly good and surprisingly safe. So at the moment in the UK and in France and in the States and probably a lot of places in the world, you don't have to wear a mask outside, you don't have to wear a mask inside, you don't have to prove that you've had the test in a lot of places. It's just kind of as if COVID never happened. Which that's fair?
Yeah, well, in France you have the pass, but
yeah. Whereas here, every single person wears a mask during the day all the time. And then you have to wear 2 masks if you want to go indoors. So that means inside taxis, buses, airports, restaurants, shopping centres, shops, museums, anything indoors, you have to wear 2 masks. And now the rules might change. They changed very recently. I'm going to talk about it in a second. So the rules might change. So make sure you check online to know the current updates.
Yeah.
But when we were here the first time, quite often if we walked into somewhere, we would walk in and they would do a temperature thing on your back of your hand. So you just kind of walk in and show your hand.
And give you hand sanitizer.
And then they give you hand sanitizer. And there's people at every single shop that will either spray your hand with a spray or they'll have a pump for you to do your pump it yourself, like the gel.
But really,
and
every
sometimes
single shop, not even, not really.
It's not just the big ones.
It's all of them.
It's literally like the small little gaming shop that's somebody's front room, or like.
It's crazy.
Actually, speaking of which, it's not been the small shops that we talked about, like the small grocery shops where it's literally someone's front room.
The real shops.
Those ones are fine, but like actual shops, So if you want to go into a bank or to get a SIM card or to go clothes shopping, anything like that, they will check your temperature and you have to wear 2 masks. We actually walked into one shop.
Got kicked out.
And they were like, 2 masks, and we're like, oh, sorry, no, okay, we'll leave. So we left. It doesn't matter how much money you've got. If you haven't got 2 masks, you're not allowed in. Now, things have changed literally a couple of days ago.
December 10th.
And what we have to do now is show your vaccinations and do the temperature and do the hand sanitizer stuff. So we've got we got vaccinated in these States and then in France. So we have both of them printed off. And sometimes they just go, yep, okay, that's fine. And then sometimes they're like, 1 minute, where's the date? Where does it say what vaccine it is? Is that your name? Like they actually check it. So again, this is probably going to change in a week or a month. I have no idea. But at the moment, it feels very safe.
Yeah.
They're taking it very seriously.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is, so we were here for 12 days the first time round, and I think I saw in that 12 days maybe 5 people without a mask, not including like baby children. Even kids are wearing them though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Maybe 5 people, but otherwise it's builders, it's business people, it's
even people of their own industry. Like personally, when it's just us, like put it down or whatever.
Or if we're in a park or
no
something,
one.
yeah.
But you have like single people walking in the street and they have it. So I wonder how much communication was done here to really make that stick to people, because something is working. I don't know why. I don't know if they're being threatened or if like fees or whatever. But yeah, it's working. Like everyone is very, very disciplined.
Yeah. And in order to get into like the big shopping mall that we saw like down by the water, again, temperature and hand sanitizer. I'm sure even now they would check your.
And it's so cute. There's too many people inside. Like they have waves.
Yeah, so we went actually the first day to get our SIM card, which we haven't talked about either. And there was already, say there's like 10 desks and there's already 10 people at the desks, like 10 clients. We had to wait outside for maybe 10 minutes until we were like, people came out and then we could go in. So they're very careful about how many people. But then saying that, there's buses that get filled.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. No. So it is interesting. It's definitely different to see it here because obviously, like we said, in Europe it's completely different. In the States it's different. So that's that for now. Like December now, 2021. Obviously next month it might change. Next year it might change, but that's how it is right now. Okay, so I just mentioned the SIM card. This is something I wanted to talk about and actually forgot. So I'm glad I mentioned it. But on the first day that we came here, so we arrived at night time. Like I said, we got a taxi home and it was crazy from the airport. And the next day we went to get our SIM card and it was relatively easy. So Jeremy looked online at which companies to get, which ones, like the prices and where they work and how good they are. Ended up going with Claro, which is just one of the providers. It's the red one. It's everywhere. So like I said, we had to wait outside because there was already people in there, but we took our passports. So you definitely need a passport if you're not Peruvian to get a SIM card, and our phones, and then walked in and basically said we wanted the SIM card.
Yeah, we want a prepaid SIM card.
And it was...
That's just how much credit we wanted to know how much we pay. And yeah, that's it. Nice. So it was
$5 for the card.
Yeah, $5 for the SIM card itself.
Each, which is about €1.
Yeah, and then whatever plan you decide to get. So we went for the cheapest one actually. That was $20.
Which is €4.
4 gigabytes of data. WhatsApp is unlimited. Facebook is unlimited. You can also call and message people locally for like pretty much free.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean 4 gigabytes for 30 days. It's enough most of the time if you don't do anything special. If you don't upload video or whatever, it's going to be fine. So yeah, in total it costs you $25 to set it up and then $20 to recharge, which is like I said, like $5. So pretty affordable and actually super fast, really quick. Like got 4 or 5G everywhere in the city.
Yeah.
So it's pretty surprisingly good, I think.
Yeah, I get 5G all the time.
Yeah.
So it costs €1 to set up. And then €4 a month for this 4 gigabyte thing, which has been absolutely fine. Yeah. It's way cheaper than anything in the States. Remember the States prices were like $200 a month.
Even in Europe and France, where we have the cheapest one in the world, pretty much.
Yeah, so it's super cheap, really affordable, and really great service. So that's been the SIM card.
And you can recharge pretty much anywhere. So to get the SIM card, you need to go to a Claro shop or Bytel or Movistar if you choose another one. But you need to go to the store to get the SIM card. But to recharge, a lot of grocery stores have this sign, Recarga aquí, with the color of the company. So you can just go there, you give them your phone number and the plan that you want, 4 gigabytes, 20 gigabytes, whatever, and they do it and you can pay. So you don't even need to look for a Claro shop to recharge. It's pretty much every block you have one somewhere. You can see the sign, yeah, Recarga aquí.
But also, they downloaded the app on my phone, and your phone as well, so that we could recharge ourselves, we could check how much data we have, so that should be an easy way to do it. However, it didn't work for us.
No,
we tried with different bank cards on different days, different internet connections, all the rest of it, and it just didn't work. So we ended up going to a shop and doing it that way.
Like 3 bank cards, and when we put the details, it's saying the information provided or not valid or whatever when there was money there. Like, so I don't know if you can only recharge with a Peruvian card or something like that, but yeah, so we had to go to someone, but
in theory the app should work, it just didn't work for us.
Yeah, but it's pretty easy in the shop, like it was fine.
Yeah. Okay, lastly we're going to talk about Spanish. And if we can get by without speaking Spanish.
Not really.
Not really?
Not much.
No. So I think we found 2 people that spoke 3 people that spoke English. There was somebody in the Tourist Information Centre who helped us. He talked to us about the buses and taxis and all the rest of it. There was somebody in the chocolate shop.
And somebody in the dog park.
Oh, and somebody in the dog park. So we found 3 people. Oh, and the apartment owner from this place.
Yeah.
4 people in about 2 weeks that have been here that speak English. Everybody else speaks Spanish. And what's interesting is that if you go into a shop and they say, Buenos dias, and you go, English, no habla español. They go, oh, and you're just like, I don't know, I still don't know what you're saying. You just kind of like turn and look at something else. No, but they like everybody here speaks Spanish. You can't get away with like it's not like
even for a capital city, it's not yeah, it's not easy.
It's been one of the hardest places I think we've been to. Like, I think
like
even in Panama and Cuba and things, people spoke English.
Yeah.
Here is the place we've been with the least.
Probably, yeah.
Probably even in Indonesia and everything, right? Yeah. So there's really not many people speaking English, like taxi drivers, people in shops, people in restaurants, like they all speak Spanish and they, I don't know if they don't speak English or if they won't speak English, but either way they haven't. So definitely need to know the basics. Something I've learned is everybody says buenas. So hola is like hi, and then there's like buenos dias, buenas tardes, and buenas noches, which is like good day, good afternoon, good evening. Everybody says buenas. So whatever time of day is buenas, buenas, and that has gotten me through. I feel like I know what I'm talking about. People think I can speak Spanish, and then they talk to me and I'm like, deer in the headlights, no idea what they're saying. So buenas is a good one to know.
I would recommend download the Spanish and whatever your language is on Google Translate offline. So even if you're offline, you can translate things. I've been relying on Google Translate pretty heavily for more like technical stuff that we have to be dealing with, or just to get a word once in a while. Like we tried to recharge our SIM card, and the person was telling me that I could only pay in cash, but cash is efectivo, and I didn't know this word, and it's like I was like effective.
And then also you had to pay the exact amount or something. Like she didn't have change. So it's like we're passing her the phone. She types in what she's saying and passes it back, and we're like, oh, okay. So we reply and then pass it back to her. Keep that handy
and have it offline just in case. It will save you here and there when you can't figure out.
It also helps for restaurants looking at menus.
Yeah.
You understand a lot of it, whereas I don't. So I literally hold my phone up and like it scans the words. Sometimes it gets it, sometimes it doesn't. But you can kind of get a general idea of what you're ordering.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's everything. If there's anything else I remember, I'll leave it linked down below. I've also written a blog post all about Lima, so I'm hoping to get that up at the same time as this video, so you can go ahead and read all of my advice. I'll leave anything I've talked about linked down below, like the restaurant in Barranco, anything else I can think of, I'll leave linked down below so you can have a look. Really hope you enjoyed this video. I really hope it was useful. If it was, please give it a thumbs up, that really helps me out. Make sure you subscribe for more videos, and we will see you very, very soon. Bye.